Spiritual hunger. Let me give you a practical indication of what this means. One of the leading causes of death amongst young Americans, 25 and under, is automobile accidents. Now you say to yourself, oh, that's because so many young people are busy using cell phones, they're texting, they're probably having a drink, they're excited, and they lose control of their cars. But what happens is that we don't discuss these things in an open way, we simply pass more laws. We require that our students in high school take driver's education classes. We require them to pass a stringent driving test, and yet all they do is pass the test without an understanding of the very real responsibility of wielding the power of a modern automobile. And so they kill themselves in unprecedented numbers. We should be very concerned about this, because one of the oldest stories that we know about, one of the oldest myths, of course, is the story of Helios and Phaeton. And in the story of Helios and Phaeton, Phaeton is the young son who pleads with Helios, who is the god of the sun in the sky. He pleads with his father and says, "Let me drive your chariot." And Helios, because he loves his son too much, and because he feels he's been tricked into making a promise which he now cannot rescind, he allows his beloved son to get into this fiery chariot with its wild horses, and he allows that boy to drive the chariot across the sky. Well, we know that the story ends badly. We know that Phaeton gets too close to the earth and nearly burns it up, and that he gets too close to the sky at another point and he nearly freezes the earth because there's not enough warmth. And eventually Jove decides to hit him with a thunderbolt in order to end the problem. Death of Phaeton, Helios is extremely unhappy, and the earth is saved. But that's the nature of this myth that is thousands of years old. It tells us in no uncertain terms that we cannot just hand over the keys to great power for our young people. We have to talk with them first about whether they understand the power of the automobile, or the power of the vote, or the power of coming in to possession of this earth. Because they will come into possession of this earth, whether we like it or not. The old folks are going to be pushed aside and the young folks are going to take over. It's a simple story. It's as old as Greek myth gets. And yet, today, young people are dying in droves because we don't engage in the discussion that lies behind the myth. This is the result of spiritual starvation. We have the myth, we just don't use it. Sometimes I call this book, Spiritual Hunger, a diet book for the soul, because it will show us important things that we need to consider if we are to have adequate, nutritious feeding for our souls. Our bodies we can look after, but it's our souls that will lead us astray if we don't give them guidance. So that is a taster of what you can expect to find in Spiritual Hunger, the book. And by the end of the book, I show you really effective ways that you can nourish your own soul so that you do not become lost, adrift, depressed, self-destructive. Thank you.